San Antonio and Austin, two cities that used to seem so far apart. The 75-mile difference along I-35 was marked by open pastures and farms and a few small towns in between. But now, while the distance has remained the same, those 75 miles, the world has changed considerably. I-35 is stop and go all the way, and the open fields are now shopping centers and commercial districts. And the once small towns have become the largest small towns in America. What you see along this highway doesn't really reveal what's happening. San Antonio and Austin, the entire region, are becoming a mega metro, a metropolis created by growth between two cities where two essentially become one. And this mega metro will be home to one of the world's largest economic powerhouses. Welcome, I'm Henry Cisneros. How did two medium-sized Texas cities end up as anchors for what will all accounts become one of the world's top economic megametros in the coming decades? And how will we grow these cities together in a way that is sustainable, affordable, environmentally sound, equitable, and desirable? In the next hour, we'll talk with many of the major players involved in Austin-San Antonio growth. We'll hear their thoughts and plans and hopes for the evolution of the San Antonio-Austin megametro. The development of a megametro starts with strong population growth. Consistently, year after year, both Austin and San Antonio have seen that growth. There are few people I can think of over the last 30 years who've had a better perspective to the rapid changes in Austin than Mayor Kirk Watson. He's been a state senator, city attorney, and 2 times the mayor of Austin. Early on, he put emphasis on developing Austin's downtown.
The first time I was mayor, which was 97 to 2001, Austin's downtown really wasn't much of a downtown. We didn't have a convention center hotel, for example. So we needed to create a way to build one of those, and we did. We doubled the size of our convention center. But importantly, what I was saying at the time was, we can't have our downtown just be a downtown of what I was calling the older economy. Yeah. Lawyers, real estate, and bankers. What we needed was the new economy that was growing up in Austin.
At about the same time, San Antonio's rack space made its debut and was growing rapidly. Co-founder Graham Weston was talking with investors who wanted him to relocate to Silicon Valley, but he chose to stay in San Antonio. He was watching the growth of the technology business in Austin.
Austin was not nearly as much of a tech magnet in those days as it is today. And it's hard to remember that. But Dell is really a computer hardware company and not really, not at the center of the tech universe that Silicon Valley has. And so I would not say that Austin had nearly the power that it has today. That power has emerged in the last 20 years.
To the south, San Antonio was also growing, but not due so much to technology. It was biomedical and tourism and the military driving the San Antonio economy. Mayor Ron Nirenberg tackles the question that many have asked. What's the difference between Austin and San Antonio in economic trajectory?
Why is our growth a little different? I think we have to look at it as, first of all, difference in the timeline development of the two cities, but also we're a different city. San Antonio brings a history and cultural identity that is irreplicable in anywhere else in the country, and that's our strategic advantage.
But Austin, while growing in technology, also diversified.
You were not satisfied just to put everything on technology. You also understood the significance of the biosciences.
That's right.
And you get credit for sort of putting together the resources of the University of Texas and putting the first medical school in Austin. They talk about that.
Well, so it never made sense to me why Austin, Texas, with a world-renowned Tier 1 research university that's made such a difference, didn't have its own medical school.
Economic leaders in both cities want the world to know we have the educated workforce now and into the future. Jenna Saucedo Herrera leads Greater SATX, and her counterpart in Austin is Gary Farmer with Opportunity Austin. They join us now together.
Texas is now a talent factory. I think pitifully few people understand that we now have more Tier 1 research universities in the state of Texas than any other state. Yes, California had that honor for a very long time, no longer.
Bioscience is our largest industry, so 1 in 6 San Antonians is employed in the space. In addition to that, cybersecurity, so San Antonio boasts the second largest concentration of cybersecurity assets, that's certifications of people employed in the space, again, tying back to the veterans and our military community in San Antonio.
State Representative Cheryl Cole represents sectors of East and Northeast Austin. She stands firm in her belief that as the cities grow, education must support teachers who will train our future workforce.
We should have more special education programs. We should focus on African American and Latinos. The population is expanding, and I don't think we're doing enough with our English second language classes and the teachers who teach that. And we have to make more of a seamless effort to put our students back into the community.
So, it's technology, education, and medical research that have taken both San Antonio and Austin from sleepy Central Texas towns into one of the fastest growing economic regions in the world. And as Gary Farmer pointed out, also to a great quality of life. As we move forward toward that mega metro, there are a number of challenges we face as a region of collaboration. One of the main challenges is transportation. Anyone who travels on Interstate 35 between Austin and San Antonio knows it's a traffic mess. The road is not handling the growth well, and it can't by itself. We need other solutions as we continue to grow.
I mean, I remember when I first moved to San Antonio, we used to go, all the players, if we had a new car, we'd go drive them on 1604 because no one was out there. I mean, it was all trees and forest on 1604, and now you see what it's like now. If we were driving to Austin, going up 35 was an easy drive. It wasn't that hard. Now it's a little scary, a little stressful because it's so much traffic. Lots of times you get stopped on the freeway. You come to a standstill out there because the congestion is just incredible.
Can we be a player together if we don't have better transportation between us? Today, the spine is IH-35. You take your life in your hands amongst the 18-wheelers on 35.
Bottom line is, yes, we need to move people and goods more freely, and we are overly dependent on the spine, as you referenced, right, and our highway infrastructure. And so we need to think more broadly and in more of an innovative way about mobility and connectivity and ways to, again, move people and goods because we will be bottlenecked as we continue to grow exponentially, as you say.
Peter J. Holt is the chairman of the San Antonio Spurs and also general manager and CEO of Holt Cat. His investment in San Antonio and South Texas is generational, but it will continue as a commitment into the future. Moving people in our mega metro is an issue he's carefully watching. What might you imagine in terms of collaboration between the airports? I think we're past the point where we can build a joint airport.
Yeah.
I championed that once upon a time.
Yeah. Let's invest in it properly. What I think needs to happen is more collaboration. We need to work together on flights, flight planning, investing, so that we are not cannibalizing that hurts our constituents the most.
Hundreds of years ago, settlers founded San Antonio along the San Antonio River. It was the water that made this a habitable location, and that remains true today. This area has a very unique feature, a recharging aquifer to supply water needs. But it's not an endless supply because the aquifer needs raw land to recharge. The more we pave over the developed land, the lower the recharge.
This is an amazing region. If you really think about what connects us to each other, Austin-San Antonio corridor is really water. And if you think about the groundwater resources that we have, the springs network that connects all the way from Austin through to San Marcos to New Braunfels and then down here to San Antonio.
Talk about that a little bit.
This springs network.
Barton Springs in the north.
Yes, all the way down to Comal Springs, and then of course we have the San Antonio Springs, the Blue Hole that a lot of people know about here. And you know, this is a very, very much of our heritage and our culture connecting these springs, and the fact that the groundwater, surface water interaction, I mean, all of those springs are coming from this just wonderful aquifer network that we have that then bubbles up to the top.
There's only so much land, even in a state as big as Texas. As the megametro develops along I-35, there's tremendous growth to the west throughout the hill country. Developers in Texas and from all over the country want to build in the hill country. At issue is a highly sensitive environmental area, and preservation and development need to work hand in hand.
The thing that we would like to see is if growth is going to happen, then let's do it as sustainably as possible. Let's build into the development that we're thinking about practices that would involve more green space, more trees, protection of the water.
Make no mistake, the environment, the quality of life are a big part of attracting people to an area, and thus attracting the jobs that feed the economy. And a green way of thinking is right on target with that desirable young demographic of tech talent.
Through our talent attraction campaign, we conducted some research with young, we can't even say millennials anymore, but young talent looking to relocate. The number one criteria for relocation decisions was access to green spaces.
Two large cities don't just somehow grow together into a mega region. Physically they might, but in order for San Antonio and Austin to make this inevitable growth become a sustainable, equitable, economic region with a rich quality of life, we have to work together. And that means planning and collaborating as we grow.
We can't do this in a healthy way, in a progressive way, without working together.
Interesting.
And we want to be a partner in this growth.
Andy Brown, the county judge of Travis, as well as Mayor Watson, myself, Peter Sakai, will be doing some exchanges that start this summer. We really want to make sure that we're having a broader view of what we're trying to achieve for our communities specifically, but also what that will look like in terms of all of these different pillars of the Metroplex growth and planning.
It's been said the way to bring people together is to root for the same sports teams. That could be true for San Antonio and Austin too. Sports leaders here are watching the development of the mega metro to see if there's an opportunity here. Tell me a little bit about how you see the region from the perspective of a sports franchise owner.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Henry, because there's some paradoxes, especially the economic indexes aren't tracking in the same way. And so as we're seeing population growth really explode, there aren't the exact same tracking economic index.
So the concept of a team that can literally be thought of as the home team for an entire region is a real concept?
Yeah, no question. It's the San Antonio Spurs, but it's really the South Texas Spurs.
The mega metro is emerging. It's happening as we speak. And now it's up to us, San Antonio, Austin, and the cities between us, to enter a new era of collaboration, one that is as unique as we are.
If there's competition, it's to make us both better, and that makes the region
It hasn't
better.
always been so, though.
I agree.
At once upon a time in San Antonio, there was a sense that keep Austin weird was in our interest.
That's great.
And I think there was a sense in Austin, maybe even now some, that city down there has got a lot of problems and an ethnic mix that's not conducive to the modern tech economy, et cetera.
I'm Henry Cisneros. Thank you for joining us in this look at the future.